Hello. 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 Okay, good. I can hear myself now. Hello. Hello. Okay, good. I can hear myself. Right. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's me again. Sorry for those of you who were watching on Facebook and YouTube previously. No, sana na me add me home to the stream, so you couldn't really hear my voice. So apparently, I was only talking to the TikTok viewers. So once again, hello to everyone. Happy Sunday to everyone, and sorry about that. Yeah, your book of Proverbs, and so chapter 11. And Yogusono. Happy Sunday to everyone once again. Okay, yen crack it on. I've spent so much time sitting here doing the TikTok, not realizing that YouTube and Facebook really couldn't hear me. Although, can you hear me now on TikTok? Yes, you can. Fantastic. Okay, great. Okay, so Proverbs chapter 11. Like I said yesterday, your friend is saying this Proverbs thing that we are doing, it might sound quite repetitive, but at the end of the day, it is important. They say there's power in repetition, and repetition is the mother of all success. And it says that this year, 2026, we're going to take your Bible study seriously. You better take your Bible reading seriously. You better take your relationship with Onyankopon seriously. But what better way to start that than say you be immerse yourself in the book of Proverbs? Na yasre Onyankopon say obe grant yen the wisdom. Okay, and that is why we are here. And so it might sound quite repetitive at times, but memma no anyhow. Now, we're not going to read the whole chapter because chapters may be the whole idea, and I'll keep repeating this every day till we finish this at the end of the month, on the last day of the month of January. Yeah, chapters may be it's here and read the whole chapter. The whole idea is for you to, to encourage you, Wankasa, to spend some quality time with God and to read the book of Proverbs yourself, whilst seeking God's wisdom to, see you through this year. Earlier on, I was sharing, say, 2025 was a very tough year for my husband. 2025 or bro ye makakra beginning or starting off very smoothly. By the end of February into March, now 2025, I shall say bro ye mad ding. But nyame nchade oni ye wie ni ye pepepe. And so at the end of the day, it all came full circle for us at the end of 2025. But 2026 it promises to be a very fantastic year. Asofo bebre edihu adanse. Say 2026 is going to be a great year for yenyana. Now, so we are saying name say be at the papa be anywhere eba ne easy sa into no ye de empire ebe attack the year no na ya making sure say yen so ye de ewo mu bia no yen sa beka na enkoba ne say ebi mu ene wo nsa ka wo mu de na da bia yete ho na ye de yani hwe na ye tap into and for blessings there be. This year ebe ye nso ye year of manifestation, obia year a wonso obehu say Yakopon ye bibi kesi bibi efe bibi esombo e de amawa answer wo prayer kesi bi. But answer na nyame be yes sa niema no or caution yes niema bi wo ho a e wo se ye ye ho e free mu. And the book of Proverbs in general no, is all about King Solomon for wisdom na or caution ye efa integrity and righteousness and wickedness and right any papa any bone and that the choice is ours to make. It's at the end of the day yes. So key points chapter 11 the main theme is integrity leads to life and dishonesty leads to ruin. It is important say at all times we remind ourselves of that. This year 2026 are we going into it with integrity and now we are approaching it with dishonesty? I would want to believe the majority of us will approach Enema with integrity because the name said dishonesty and what will be a dishonesty is saying Enema be brave. Other key points we need to take notice of. Honesty in business, it pleases God. And earlier on, for those who could hear me, especially on TikTok, because the rest couldn't, whenever you're dealing with people in business, being honest with them. So be honest. Key aspect of honesty, transparency. Be transparent with people. And then I may can say, unfortunately, no, we share your chroma. Me for my title no more. Unfortunately, we share your chroma baby you freer. Baby, I mean no me no. Unyakopon ebo ye to ya. Ya na yentam pe no kware. Ya na yentam di no kware sa. And no what say people go into business. Starting off fefefe ebeku reach na ye bibia wo ho. Why? Because baako ene ni nua endi no kware mu. Na oftentimes, sad dishonesty, it stems from people not being straightforward. Now, me kind of earlier say, ye chromophobia brave sebi, unfortunately, and your chophobia only one would delia, dodwana and shedanya straightforward, sir. Or no walk some cry on canning na a womb and functional. Why? Because we seem to have a certain type of mindset to be say, ayana ye outsmarting crofo, ayana ye play smart, ye feel say ye nimunyansa dodo, sebi ubidu nimunyansa, into ye bit me outsmarteno, aha. But it doesn't help. In the end, the fact that ebia uni obi dili, na ufu se wo outsmart no ufu se u play ni pano na ebia onka hwe doesn't mean say ebia onhu ye. It could be say ebia nipa no wahu but we bu nani eguso because ono so onima emra on obe strike what you say. And if that's the case, why don't we just be honest with each other and be transparent with each other right from the get-go all the way through to the end? But this particular chapter say sa type of subayano, it does not please God. And yadi anyankopon ani je ho. De erade ani je ho ye say ye can no kware, ye di no kware, ye ni ye nua ya ade a ye be di no kware ama ye nua no all the way through from the beginning. Ubetumi aye akase metumi aye. Untumi nya ka kire wo nua ne say untumi nye. There be my example of Sebi, artisans and now say, those who come into to help us out with one thing or the other. Say be a wakogana, maybe a uhia plumber, and now uhia carpenter be manaba be ya diamao. You often find yourself, debiana ubisa, uye sure se ubeba, uye sure, kano krechere mi ubeba. Why? Because unim say, there's that track record of most of the time obaba jiusika akacho so okono wakoto adia baba ya adia mao and nyame amemu a wanhwe ya unhu ni biem eno ne Bible ne ka kire ye say nyame mpesa ade no nyame mpesa ade no so wonim say bia obi si ya ade ma no na untumi nsi ade ni through just be honest with nipa akro na ka kire no say mentumi nsi ade ni through. Mama mema another example of example yeah member bebe, it's not dishonesty so much, but it might tie into last year you call Ghana year campaign me kaisa beka lapa me ko pie mo la pass ho baby na me ko fridge ache obi nti me ko bebe yetonton fridge ene sa efie near my microwave near ade na la pass ho baby ena ede yegina so the year campaign at the same time. In fact me kwa na me nampo, to be honest me ne taxi driver ne pe Uber driver ne pe na me fa so say na me fanya campaign kakra. Enti girl na was a young girl be also show receipt na mame. Ena metio na menini di nkomo na mbisa so obeto aba na no so onye na dwen so obeto aba bia na me enti me encouraging so there be abato de ye to aba no blah 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 blah. Ti me na eka na me ka kire ni so on develop a habit to say obia obeba be selling the campaign message bia no ontie obia sebeya obetumi a make an informed decision. But senka obisa me personally dia nipa ga make us want to aba money nie, and these are the reasons. Yeah, menene bonko, very young girl. Menene no so we say 18 or say 19 no or say 18 to your first time voter. Prekupa me sorry ya or de me receipt ma me sorry ya me kope. Woman be oton ade wo corner ho me tis o ka kire girl ne say oh mentie de o kan me fie no we mo omba no ma be keka de o ma pre o mo pa kire ye na o ma sore ko ye tro aba ne ma wo mo wie kura ye hu bibia mfa so obi o keka nti ho na me dane machi na me say oh madam osi prekupa me dane machi ameka madam osi nya me no na kanya wasam na meka nya wasam na meka na me say madam eye ma asem na wo ka eye masempa na woka because me na me ne awuraba na di nkomo sese ya me ne di nkomo ne nyina wote ha uti asa wutwitwi wo nkukuo mu na wutie wa ntumi a interject wa anka hwe na emo me sorry ya me kwa hwe asem a woka kire awuraba no metina ka mu a me ne driver ne ye bo nkomo a ye kwa asem a me ka kire driver na ne se hwe we say ye fa ne se sebe ebia wo ye nabusuani bi ye fa se ne ba ne abofra no ebia wo ye omabusuani bi wuti akwentumu wa abruchire ebia waba abefa akora no ede ne kọ abruchire wa man opportunity wa abrabom wo de na aba betena wo fie say unstabilize bibia ye settle na fa bia wakope ba bia man na ono aso akọ ne bra. These are the types of people obefa phone afra akora na ka kira akora ne say ya adwane why ya adwane wo hwe na okọ adwuma na wakohwe ne dem ho say sika bi da ho a yibi na wo manya wo anti bi number madam fu bi a menini ko school no so kura so wo kromu ho nti bede ne number na be ma wo why na okọ adwuma na wadwane mo apaka wo noma na wadwane no ode bone ahye nipa ne tirim sabe yekrom for bebrete sa. We hear these types of stories all the time. Dishonesty ensho nyame ani uye bibi se ria na wo no wakokoto asore dem ana wakokoto udem baby na wo sugwa awrade so se ohun mobo na so refi akwan a wodi obi afa so refi seed a waso wo bitrim ono so de benanti or de benanti because sebi wo trim no ufu se wo ye smart wo na sebi wo kwa na anim nyansa sebi wo kwakobu obi kwasea enye nyankopon pesa ade no nti no you see ya obi a ye nyina ya ye bi eduru baby eye Bible na kire this year 2026 say ye pese ye di yie na enhira nyankopon di nhira nkrofo a ye hu a ye fa ye so ya ne ye pebia ye sere rade so oma ye bi no say ye pebia mpa de a ene ye ne nipa bibia wo ne nipa ye bia no ene nipa no endi no ewo no kware mu. Okay, second point chapter ye kire ye say pride leads to downfall, humility brings wisdom. Again, na me catch you joining me on TikTok earlier. Say pride enya de papa. Obi a we proud enya de papa ba kupusi. Now person who so obi a prouder. Obi a debia me I on winning nipa ho. Obi a oye proud. Nyankopon on pesade and it leads to your downfall one way or the other. Humility, on the other hand, it brings wisdom. Humility brings wisdom. Humility will open so many doors for you. Humility will offer you so many wonderful opportunities as you go along in life. And they will present themselves in so many different ways. However, let us be very careful how we define humility. Yefri omaya me de bia meka o my follow me achebeka meta kasa same way. There's a fine line between obia oye genuinely humble any obia ne de no eye false humility. Ye kromfo bebre humility no eye false humility. False humility in the sense that, and I'm sure all of us here can attest, so we've all experienced it before with Yenuya Ghana Nibi, whereby or Gia everyone or Pebibi everyone, Nensa Gunechi, or Kotokoto, me pacho I, mpacho debi, said your be wow, said your be ye, manensanka de kuruni na he. Manensanka adekro no hwehwe afiri wo ho no manensanka nwie na hwe na me di relate employee politics. Inti earlier on na me example me wofa President Akufo-Addo emra na ope to me first time oba as self who his true authentic self. This is me, this is who I am. Na manfo ne se wo mpe because yefri oman mu a enipa enta mpe obi a oye principled a oye disciplinarian yenta mpe sa nipa no obi a o de firm fist ebe rule yempe yepedia yebetumi a controlling no eno na yepe ena mwanto ama me wofa wankasa second time oko try ne best ko sesa kakra osan baaye mwansa anto ama no wankasa ena oko fa de mo pani bi no de bremo oko tam bible ena oba na ose asem papa wati wiye nyame ye obe preach bible ne kiremo na toga na fu akoma so de ye pani bi nie na mokoto aba ne bum 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 moto aba ne ma ne wie ye pe 2017 2018 no okolai low maamo e free 2019 2020 de ko no yi ni suban na di kiremo ni true suban no no yi na di kiremo because mo ama na be the first time ka mo mani bia e bia ke ya medru ba bia ye bedru ye no tebe ka akwa akosi say humility bi wo ho a ya na eye false. At the same time, we come from Omaya. We often misconstrue. How do I phrase this? How do I say this? Somebody might have a very hard exterior. Yeah. The fact that somebody has a hard exterior does not mean that they're humble. Look, there are some people where you chrome, and I can only make examples out of the politicians. There are some people where you chrome, they come across as if someone more very hard exteriors, but they are some of the nicest people you could ever meet. Very humble when you are in their presence one-on-one. Very, very humble. And earlier on, I may make an example out of Inipa Miyu. Me ame wo fagabi ochredako. Ene menua nana bedi tu, nana santi bedi tu. Omo yenkrofo, and I know they wouldn't mind me using them as an example. time na me campaigning against woman dindindin kura na me taka say politics and I mean woman anya adwene wo mu a it doesn't mean say woman ye nipa bonefo obi ti say Gabi say very nice person, very nice person, but who on the exterior before say hey onya approachable hey we dey mean to me no oh there be obetumi aben pa, very nice, very humble, very approachable, but our boundaries. You see, we come from a maya because we don't understand sebe don't understand some of these things. The moment somebody sets boundaries, people equating as a way dear or you're proud and I say or you're arrogant. And you know your arrogance. A be or your boundaries keke. A be your boundaries. But so what be nipa na? And I'll be say, oh, na sa nipa si me say we nice sa. Ah, now when I'm at who send bebre and I say be you you know radio so na TV so san ah na sa say na say pa na oh yes ben nipa na hwe ben no na hwe. But what you say ain't you know let's be very careful because yeah yakwaye your ho sebe enidie mo yakwaye your ho nkrofobia you know so be da for you say oh you humble kokana na hwe there be kokana ketwe bi na fo ani hwe so you humble said the way na we define humility no kokana ketwe bi na hwe so you humble amba dwumo di bediu no ebi kura na ne na wo fu so ye kikikiki no kwa na beba abeje. Until let's be very careful when it comes to that humility thing. Because Sadia na manipa bebre judge nipa bebre wrongly. That be me the Honorable Kennedy Japan by example. Honorable Kennedy Japan, you another person I made by example. A nipa bebre fu say Honorable Ken. Papa we do it na radio. Oh, Ben Anare. One of the most humble people you could ever meet in life is Honorable Kennedy or in Japan. Honorable Ken, or tiakonya show, it doesn't matter who you are. Udru obesore ama omo atnase. Ehyenenum obeyama wo. Just the way misa. Na wo misa ye krobeboa. Na de washe da akwa akubisa. Sane, but on the boundaries. Until the fact that Abia he comes across as obi or hard exterior doesn't mean so on your humble. Until let's be very careful. Donald Trump. There are people who share President Trump. He's one of the most humble people you could ever meet. But to many people across the world, or you're arrogant, or you know, he has a very tough fist. But what you expect? Sometimes in Nipedru, that level of leadership now, you need to be like that. And asamoka, you might see them, oh, wait, do you oh, wait, you need it. Unim litrim. This is where na ya campaign no. Na me talk because we are talking about wisdom here. That is why I'm running a campaign. Na me talk Chrofo said. It's not that Dr. Bawumia, for example, and Doc, where them pacho ba me the example, me the example. It's not that Dr. Bawumia will be tiny, but don't come and tell me, say, one of the reasons why I wasn't your Koto Abamana is because he's humble. No. And what is our humility? No, go about there, then the one there be no one yarding it. What is our humility? Come with reasons why. Shreya de Kuruntia Yankoto Abamano, Dioba Bayer, Diawayan in the past, ye shab, etc., etc. Ye yawaha. Ain't you know, because so who catch him say who brasio said you see the form, said you see conducting the one, said you sitting oh shit. What do you mean trim? Ada sabi onye nipa. And it's our humility when they are not careful because a nipa petu, and especially when you're part of the world and you're free, no, a nipa petu me especially, they can put on all manner of character. It takes a certain kind of individual to be consistent with the character. no no kura no owani fia unim ni suban o de wani fie. We've come across yatete asofo asebe, the best preachers, so-called humble, the nicest, philanthropic givers. But until womoyere ebie womano, and the whole world can say, hey, yes, they be abusers. Abusing but the nicest, what you will classify as humble, giver. Mommy, careful. There's a fine line. And we need to ask God to give us the spirit of discernment, so that we don't allow people to fool us. Because like I said, somebody might have a very hard exterior, but could be one of the softest persons inside. Somebody could also on the exterior have a very soft exterior, but very wicked on the inside. People know how to play this game of life. It will only take discernment. Okay. The chapter also tells us that generosity brings blessings. Greed leads to lack. There be Thomas Kodom, good morning. Morning. Happy Sunday. Debia Eve and who else is here? Sorry, not that I've ignored you. I just wanted to focus on Miriana Machia Monanka. But now that I've mentioned Thomas's name, always a royal high. Good afternoon to you. Ain't you know, yeah, generosity brings blessings, greed leads to lack. Now, when it comes to generosity, for example, sometimes I see, and once again, your politicians, they teach us a lot, don't they? It's in a example, because Ghana and our politics, Ghana. We come from a very political country. Sometimes you see politicians nibi na ebia wako ye papa bi wo baby. Then sometimes you read the comments and you see people will say things like, na de na wo ye papa na wo de camera atoso. And your politicians ne ponko, even Ghanaian businessmen no money ade no, obi to me ye papa. Na ubeko comments no bi atro say, ade na wo ye ade bi say adoye bi say na wo de camera atoso. Na Bible ne say nyama say nka yenye no in secret mama yi hu na ade. But mukroya ye Ghana fo kroya so. And as a nipano wa nyame ye hu a ye so ye be use against womo. About woman no so a ye be say use against womo say. And na wokra ye hu so ye papa bia da. And ye hu say watuatua nkrofo bi school fees da. And ye hu say bia sebi wako donate enuane wo baabi. Anase say enti edru mmiri bia womo ya ese womo de camera etoso. But the fact that obi in fa camera entone die so doesn't mean so obi nya papa. Na no na erabe bi ye YouTube TikTok live bi na me touch na metie kakra. Nya metie ya ne so kan say asimesi wa ye papa bebre wo social media so. Na almost kura platforms a nimu nkrofo ni nimu mpanifo e na papa na di platforms no eye sebe edidie mu enye ye nyina na ebia sebe ye ba akofa ebia obi a oyare ede na ba beye ha abeto ha abeye video abeka se ebia se ni se mumye donate enidie mu nye se ebia meka atia obi obi eye bia ne kwan so ano no. But enyo bia no ye bibisa o de beto abonten obu ho a ono so owo ne circle of friends bi ana ne platform bi a onim se o de kotum na obisa se guys me pese me ye bibisa I need £100 for each one of you one more de beba ebia within a few days obetumi agada bia £500 £300 na bia o de asende amongst ye hu ko me say me wo lady bi wo UK ha or ye bibisa on time fan to social media but or the link na be send me sis me ye bibisa I need people to help me, and I know I can trust when you can say mobeboa. It's a mondoneti ebia BBC na yedeko. It's new beyond the day. Into the fact say obi ye bibi no enchre se nkrofo nye. The fact say so be there better social media say me gigi wait me yes say yen na in our own small way obi a ye ne de. So obi so here school fees. Ye nim nipa from nowhere to da near the co. Obi say bia was me cut form. Adwuma say wo hwe pa say nipa no be miss opportunity no na daachi wo be feel guilty say ebi so aka me de man na adwuma no nkokọ en nkobenya nti na why, but you don't come and put it on social media. Nti no it depends, it varies how a ubia ye ne de, but the bottom line is that generosity edin shiraba, being a generous person edin shiraba, being a giver edin shiraba. Edin shiraba. Me call Ghana say even sometimes because I deal with restaurant and a shop or keke kurana. The tip I'll give sometimes, you know, far outweighs Adiana method, because when I convert it to me pound sterling, I'm like, you know what, these people are struggling here. They are struggling. But yet, you see the way they are going and coming in. Say, will be, come on. And you say, uche will be 1,000 Ghana cedis kora sebe unche ne hwe ewo Ghana ho unche ne hwe. You know, everybody does it because we know say ekotwa ne ho a ebeba back to us one way or the other. Amaye ho ebeba ye baby ho, amaye baby ho ne ebeba ye nana bi ho da. Into generosity de eya de papa eye, and everybody has to be generous and everybody has to be a giver. Greed leads to lack. Debiameka, if you have followed me for a long time, you know, say, one of the reasons why I have always not understood why politicians in Africa are so greedy is because I asked myself, say, don't they know that there's something called abundance? You see, the only reason why you would behave a certain way towards somebody when it comes to politics in Ghana, the moment people see say obia bemubi and they feel a sense of inkling say they feel threatened. They feel threatened immediately, and the minute they feel threatened, they start plotting and scheming against you. But you see, the only reason why you feel threatened, I don't care who you are, is because you have a poverty mindset. The only reason why you think or you believe there is not enough to go around for everybody is because you have a poverty mindset. Because if you have an abundance mindset, you will know that there is more than enough to go around for everybody. It is just a matter of time. There's more than enough for everybody. It is just a matter of time. And today, I will born home buying. A dear Nama why you're overly protective, very territorial. Yeah, ma obi mbemubi. This is our party. Yeah, ma mbemubi. Politics in a political party. Yeah, ma ma. Now ma obi ma. But there are several other parties. Even in Ghana, there are several other parties. There are several other parties. Even in Ghana, how many political parties do we have in Ghana? Uluku beyond Ghana, the rest of the world is there. Na that Dana make a big Troy and them say, I was saying yes, Nana Amachi de day or so, or Bonyum, or say Krodo or so I entina fa kunje ni mguasie. Let us develop an abundance mindset. Let us develop an abundance mindset and understand that as much as ye Ghana for no, onyankopon ye Ghana nko an obo as oman. Obo wiase nyina, however many countries e wo wiase bi. Enti se when di ye wo Ghana, wo betumi di ye wo baabi foforo. Uko baby fufro no wendi ye wo ha ubetumi move akọ baby fufro nso ubetumi akwa till say ubedi ye wa abrabom. Develop an abundance mindset. When you have an abundance mindset, you are not afraid to bring other people along. When you have an abundance mindset, unsro to bring other people along. Uko bibia, you can't wait to inform other people. Say, mume say me yanko na mako bibi, yenye nebe benefiti yenye na mumra me yanko. But in some say, poverty mindset na edidi subconscious num, edidi subconscious numantino. Ye wonipa bebrea ene, omwe di ye but still on person obi beba. Wedi ye wudi enke ye kesika, adan, businesses, cars, positions, no money adia, anka wedi ni nyine bi. And so still on person be better. A poverty mindset. Na me amra mete asie pa mra Oprah Winfrey interview Will Smith. Actor ya your friend Will Smith ya. And obisa Will Smith say ni fear anything. Ni fear anything. Will Smith say osro se ni sika besa. The millions bebrebe nyina o millions and millions and millions of dollars no osi osro se ni sika besa the millions no ebesa asema Oprah Winfrey ka kire na ani say and you go and work on your mindset because uda shukura poverty mindset because who abundance mindset unsro se usika besa because sample unim say you can make more and more ebini obi te say Donald Trump what kind of story and who ni book ni bia wa share sepen but a son said now onim the tricks of the trade or crash skills at ye sikenti he was able to bounce back. Nti obu ohompo a poverty mindset nti o sika pao but on to me enjoy life. Ono a onche dan tu kwan enko explore a body fefefa nyankopon aboni wiase fefefefefefe onko explore bida baby otina nothing. There's nothing wrong with that if that is your choice. They will choose abrabum. But we can conclude say a poverty mindset. Ntime etoda enyema bebre wo ho a ekoso wo ye politics me de mani hwe nkrofo din me ka me se hwe said you mo pre obu wo ho a ye fa ne say bia me mpo de nyame adom me ni sa problem no but obu a ye fa say bia opeso obi mfa ne nko minister bi ho ana panyini bi ho obeya we na ochina chi osi ochina chi obedra obeya wo sa ompeso ade oboko osuro so wo kodru ho abia no wakoje nanu eno wo ho mum but have the time baby aye free ni de ya na your poverty mindset. That is not to say so obi maybe some mfa nko baby amsram pass what you say have the time your poverty mindset. But when you have an abundance mindset, you're like, girl, it is saying, winning, and then me call baby. In fact, me call true hono. Now almost say almost share. Obi me say, "Una wa dream ba me trim first into me bo wouldn't cry chere womo. Oba pesa me fa wo number ma man, but wouldn't dia mabo a chere womo a abundance mindset." Obo ho woni mo bi obetimi aye adwuma bia ma obi pa o me se o mo nipa ni din da on recommend o da aye poverty mindset. Buhari Suleiman, how are you, my brother? I hope you're good. Aye poverty mindset. But when you have an abundance mindset, you know say, oh, that's more than enough. Na nyankopon no obo ni wiase sebe emframa wa de adom ye in abundance. Look at all these rivers and the oceans and all the trees and the plants, and there's so much beauty and so much abundance. Na nipa wa ye so feature territorial wa ye so debi. You know, ensua and also so Yeah, greed. The reason why nipa bebre are greedy. A lack. Poverty. The obaakufo person will see 9 mansion be 10,000. Near body na we see mansion 10,000. Na baako na wutimu no kura sebi. How many rooms na wutumi them at the same time? Impo one room na wo no kura no. Empa na esimu no kura no woda one particular place. One spot na woda. Obo ha why greed inti why see mansions in 9 bebre cars no money ade. Ene yese ebi mu fie kura obekọ cars na doors wo wa me adwodwo tire wa asie nyina enso ene wanya back problem so badly say woda ho kura na woda ho a certain way because wunya shift pe wo spine until then we greed now we ne bebre ne de ko si efa. Chapter number 8 says those who guide others to righteousness are wise. And the final takeaway from this chapter is that character matters more than wealth or power. Character matters more than wealth or power. But you see, this same scripture teaches us also that it doesn't matter how bad somebody's character is. You might decide to judge them on their character. The character nti onye mento aba mano, the character nti mi do bi mano, the character nti opportunity bi memfa mano. That's fair enough. And no according to area standards ni bibia yete ase. But the good news is that onyankopon obo ni wiase. De omaye emframa me ye home anopa. Nea ose ye nsori a yetumi sori ne ose ene oni we na ofrewa, that is it no. Or no dear, no matter how bad a person is, or more opportunity to come to him. Or more opportunity. That is why men share more obiedin in person. But there are certain people be where in Ghanaian entertainment industry more. One particular gentleman Ghanaian entertainment industry more ubenya challenges kakra. Emma yenyina yehu social media so. Se obedida suban bi asebe na ensem fata edi oda suban bi di na enye nkofo boa no kwa na wabedi di o matem de ade. He was going through a phase in life. But we also saw certain individuals, one footballer for example, ujina abrantie ye chia wenyina ma despite your course nyina wenyina mada ujina ne chia. And anytime I saw that, I was like, that is a true like onipa nyameti ni mono onkura Bible. And I hope they don't mind say media example because everybody knows anyway, it's public knowledge. Yeah, bear my funny face. Ghanaian entertainment industry. Yeah, who said some time ago he went through so many challenges. But me, I can only speak for myself and what I observed. I saw Asamoah Gyan and how Asamoah Gyan stood by him no matter what. It got to a point na ayeding na nipa ka munyinema mobi enfi ni biem we on jaida we on sesanta. Everybody, people were just writing him off. But Asamoah Gyan you see, that is love. That is love. Say, you see, we all must get to that point with people where we say, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Look, I love you regardless of what people say about you. Media, mimido. We must get to that point. We are so quick to judge people. We are so quick to condemn people. We feel we are so righteous that obi be obeba be yehu fi. Hey. Obi be oba be yehu fi. I don't want to be, especially those who pretend. Na me say me ti so me say me di mani hwe niam bebre ana ya mesri wo mitri me say politics, there are those who on social media will pretend as if they don't want to be seen with you. They don't even want to be seen in your social media. They don't even want to be seen to be commenting on your social media or anything. Momahwe womo wo ye inbox any on WhatsApp. Momahwe womo e wo ye WhatsApp any ye messenger. Because you see, people have developed some type of it's you see, you're not free. A lot of people are not free. This thing called freedom. A lot of people are not free. Now, who drill it down, drill it. Why? It boils back down to poverty. Yeah, you can't see me. Because you are so desperately looking for an opportunity with a certain group of people, be saying you don't want to offend them. And you can easily offend people just by being, by them seeing you being associated to somebody or whatever. As a who buys it. But such people, more sure, more your inbox money, your messenger. Who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? Now, me besides the question you say, Senka would do one, Anke Bebanesa. Senka would do one. And we develop it, build it to a point where you have nothing to lose. Anke Bebanesa. Timumi, and you're careful. The way we condemn people, the way we write people off, the way we judge people, politics move, for example. You see, mwana moye sebe ye betnani ye beka stories ni binswa na enipa bia you offended. But a experience is yeah programs, yeah programs, educated public, no. Na no Rebecca and you say musician be abonyum bi wo Ghana sam nyum no mu ho ba bi o say ye mo na mo aye mesa o mo na mama ye mu bi mu ya ye de ayaye ne nansa ye program say ya na lady bi ba ye so pe me number person ne me di nkomo blah 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 me say no problem uja message e korie chire na chire say menko bisa Honorable Kennedy Japan for help. How do I go and ask Honorable Kennedy Japan for help for people I don't know and for people Honorable Kennedy Japan himself doesn't know? Na enipa na womo pesa ammoa na free Honorable Kennedy Japan when unti me na mindie ni enko bi Honorable Kennedy Japan for sa ammoa no. How do we know so womo ntina social media issue ND Honorable Kennedy Japan atem? How do we know so womo ntina womo platforms so sebe enka se okasa ne boso onimu kasa ne kasa nye ni suban nye onye presidential material e fine ne kosi hi but e to de e den no na afa sika sama bam na sebe muhia moa muhia sika kakran afa de yenko Honorable Kennedy Japan na me na mindi animu na yenko na amra you see and that eraba na obebisa mesa emmoa no wa ha no oyobi a me hu na me platform so da me hu na ha da but ada obisa for number me comment is strange me hu ha da pe say oh aya me hwe wo videos aya wo hwe me video but un commented da un chia un ma so nchia me da so wo yo mo ta kira wo matie no kura un kan hello da ye di matem un defended da o me mama akoma emeka arechichere sam nchire me da but edu se wo hia moa no eno de wakai se Maria mo akwabo edu bi wo baabi onim empanimfo no enti minko ho no na minko sere ne obetumi akwa bisa Honorable Kennedy Japan wa. You see, na no so me ho na man bi no sure we say America we say he me pe wo number me na me forward me WhatsApp na ma no kofa ni nua bi picture sebi onua ne yare da hospital mpam write up tin voice note ka ho so betumi ade ato platform so e bi sika. I'm sorry, but I just deleted it. Me feel no kura. Onye me viewer me hu me platform so da sa mohwe mo me my encouragement mo me hu ba bia mu gina nothing but a to de den no wa hu se Maria mwakwa boedu e bia me de to ha mpanimfo ni bi behu obi beba mmoa kese mo de using na ye use nipa uyo yu bua ni we ya so panyam okọ kwatena another platform wako di watam wo take many anum. When it comes to these things, yeah, Kenya. Sebi, ya de kaka ye ho, but ya kaka ye ho ni nyinaa no, enkyere se sebi, ye bejeja ye ho abelete ye self lose. Ete me sre me nua Ghana ni a wutie me say, this year 2026, we should set boundaries. Set boundaries. Protect your peace. Dia en serve wo no, memfa wo hu nkofore mu. Baby, I'm back quiet do and no nyam from menko. Baby, I will feel so wako yen welcome me means you hope be set your boundaries, protect your peace. It does not mean you are not humble. Be very humble, be very generous. But always know, say you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You don't owe anybody any explanations about Jack. When you want to talk, talk. When you want to keep quiet, keep quiet. It's your life. Life no a one pet. A single one pet. I who say me woman should say, enya rehearsal ne ye no waka say wo rehearse na anye ya okwa obeba no ababe correct it. There be okwa that it is final. It is final. Yes, started January and na 11th pet. Ya down for be in cool school. US girl ne wu ya and rap people na me find out say she would have turned 52 yesterday. Yesterday would have been her birthday. I think she passed either 2nd or 3rd of January. And no an answer, my brother frame me. Or say the neighbor. My many see my neighbor or ton and the woman be or ton ade wo omu area. Okoto ade my many was 6-year-old. Oh, who akwarane ni akwarane di agoroda. And an answer, akwarane ye ne kokolibu, abofra na ku wo kolibu. E ka kwa kwesi se mpanimfo wu, enkwara ewu, 2026 the year so started. It is a nyankopon adom na say day by day ade chi. And when I me catch my husband say, if only people, and I was this morning I was telling him, say if only people realized what it takes, the grace of God to wake up in the morning, to see the night, to sleep again, and wake up again the next morning, for 365 days. Wanka. Maybe I won't follow Brabon to won't follow Brabon Yabasabasa, won't follow Brabon Comanco for Fanya Basabasa. In the name of politics or in the name of friendship or in the name of whatever type of association. No. 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 That doesn't mean so be arrogant. Tina medeme wo fagabi o trade akoye example. Nana Bidi to Honorable Kennedy Japan Munina, me do all my examples. No, they are not arrogant. Yeah, there might be times where they will show arrogance. Every human being does it. But for the most part, Obe and Woman, they are very nice people. Very, very nice people. But you see, all they do is they set boundaries. And every successful person will tell you, say they have boundaries. They don't just allow anybody into their life. They don't give access to anybody anyhow. Especially baby ye free or minor ye free mono, where we can be very disrespectful. No. me kai man be UK ha no so was starting radio na obepese me tamani ye Eric and Marino and then me started politics and say na ye Eric and Marino say mo an ye di jan ono kakache lady bi oni me say obe one me nkana nka membra na ye ne so na ne radio ne mpeke kakra na erabane de me number man no me nimu udi me what frame me for the first time pamucho muntio or frame me am so hello. May I know who's calling, please? Oh, media jaya bro for some. I just cut the call. I just cut the call. No, you're not gonna talk to me like that. Only me wing. But you see, Ghana for Sanya BTA. So why you careful? So why you careful? Nancy a video be a me who ye. Ghana ni African American. Ghana ni, you know, Bibini or not African American, but Ghana ni or United States of America, but you won't know. That's what I mean. Na wafu Uber. Na Uber driver ni ye Ghana ni. Ti omo tima omo kasa nyina. Na in fact the guy was on a call. Nti okasa because to read on a driver and a striking conversation kitwebi. The moment the Uber driver found out say oye Ghana ni pe no atone that oh na Ghana ni na o kabrofo no chabrofo no so na you see. Sister Daisy, see total disrespect. Yeah, Sister Daisy, this is why we're setting boundaries. 2020, the walls are going even higher and higher up. And one what turning sa ewo guy in the show. Just a honor familiarity. Because ye na Ghana funti bring for standards na bra form to meme standards. But of course, Abranti no ye Ghana ni akwara ya wo no you into no where dia na ekoso no po no ye ne sre no sre na ade. But me share and I was like no. So wrong. No professional. They said the mere fact say ye omumi no na Ghana funti. Now you are throwing your hands jai bro for 7 no. No yeah. Wisdom na nkomo na ye di na ne yeguso no. The big takeaway is that character matters more than wealth or power. It's not how much money you have or how much power you have, but how you treat human beings. Very, very important. That is not to say you do not set boundaries. Sebi. Muma yemfa ye sitting president, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Muma memfa nye example. As very, very human as President Mahama is, as very, very humble as President Mahama is, as very nice and, you know, heartwarming as President Mahama is, won't mean sure President Mahama or just like that. What you try to hear your bodyguards in the bayo. That's why there's bodyguards all around him. Yeah, it is to prevent unnecessary access. Answer na ubenya opportunity drew President Mahama enim. Imposa ubenya opportunity etme drew nanim wodi fear and abibino. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get there. You don't just get the access. So I want to mean sure go Jubilee House akeke. So we Ghana ni waba President Mahama ye nice pa ntino ye mu pono na ko hu President Mahama there be unhu no ye ma unhu no. Answer na ubi hu no you go through a process. And to say yena ye jitum say President Mahama we very nice pa na meboa. We very nice. But want to mean sure an ko na nim keke. Sanity. There's boundaries. Okay. I mean, so I'll just read a couple of verses. Or say, contrast the upright and the wicked. A false balance and dishonest business practices are extremely offensive to the Lord, but an accurate scale in his delight is his delight. When pride comes boiling up with an arrogant attitude of self-importance, then comes dishonor and shame. But with the humble, the teachable, who have been chiseled by trial and who have learned to walk humbly with God, there is wisdom and soundness of mind. Ahano, Mumami reading what I really like it, what it says. Or say, but with the humble, the teachable, who have been chiseled by trial. Chese abrabonankasa de wafa niemamu emma life itself has humbled you. Yeah, life itself, trials of life itself are humble. Yeah, those are the people who have learned to walk humbly with God. There is wisdom and soundness in their minds. Those people, they have wisdom and they have soundness of mind. Because now feel so one wo nanso abrabo edi wo fa anase ye wa sikafo bebra. They started off a sikafo nanso ekowieche abrabo de wo mu fa bibi mu ma wo mu lusi sika nyina ma wo mu tru amerika kohwehwe nyankopon e kira kwan. Those people, yes, ushiada, the renewed person ushiana who say now or kasa wisdom wom sebe nyansa wom utumi say humility wom afedi o buo de manipa or we needie de manipa. And this is what often happens to our politicians, yeah, part of the world, you know, whereby utu abanama womo a omure onhu po so ye nipa mpo onhu say wa enra wo wanim na ogina na osrese to abama no. No, I'm peja na beti, chips on their shoulders. Do you know who I am? Until say obefa a humiliating defeat our elections mona a humble woman at a hono and a false humility. Osa to abanama a woman na wo mushuma ya sansi bi meboa I'm not lying. And yen na medi haven't we seen videos impossible bebreba yetna ha ye kafa MPP for ho bebreba yetna se kafa MPP for ho ene ye kwan na MPP mpanimfo e de wo mo grassroots afaso ene ade sebe na yenim se nke NDC yakopon ye president Mahama Adoma NDC ba abemu anka ye nti sa asem ni bi da se sebe grassroots akofre panyini bi wa amfa grassroots ko panyini bi office yemfi no. And so how many videos haven't we seen NDC grassroots for bebre complaining? Me say bra me Facebook messenger mu na behwe complain kwa asama me catch na wo man say na menya den enye we won to kwara na me ko ye di matem na mo we. In fact, majority of you ye di matem kwa na mo ka wo bi na fe de wo be catch na me wo me messenger mu say enti menya den e de na pesa me ye e de na mo pesa me ye enye we na me ko ho ntokwa mamo no me ko ntokwa na mamo na mu di matem me ko mamo na mu di matem na se ye de ye mo amenya den. Or say the integrity and moral courage of the upright will guide them, but the crookedness of the treacherous will destroy them. Riches will not provide security in the day of wrath and judgment, but righteousness rescues from death. The righteousness of the blameless will smooth their way and keep it straight, but the wicked will fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright will rescue them, but the treacherous will be caught by their own greed. When the wicked man dies, his expectation will perish, and the hope of the godless strong men perishes. The righteous is rescued from trouble. It is a kind all the way through to the end, and verse 31, which I encourage everybody to go and read the rest of it. You'll realize that those who try their best in life to please God, those who try their best to please God at all times, God shows up for them. And those who think they have life figured out and that they can be wicked to other people, do evil to other people, be greedy, and not think about other people. Almost okay, yeah, the best here for today. Nyaminka yahu na onye ye nyina akese. Yeah, affirmations. Hello, Queen Victoria. Greetings to you. So the final set of affirmations, and then we'll start again, God willing, tomorrow, all the way till say Yebiri and Adubia Yebe. Anytime I yebe your Proverbs are the Yebe 3:3 till say Yebiri. To the final three, or say, I give and receive love effortlessly. I give and receive love effortlessly. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. And the final one is, I am capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. I am capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. Okay, so these are 3 beautiful affirmations. If you remember them, you can keep repeating them to yourself in the course of the day. Now, the fact that you are affirming things to yourself doesn't mean, oh, yeah, affirmation, you are no. You still have to get up and take action, because action, backing everything we are learning and all these affirmations and setting your goals and doing your visualization and all of the above, if you don't get up and take action, forget it. Okay, so I'll love you and leave you this afternoon. Eve, God bless you too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.